there can be only one podcast that you listen to right now. And I think it should be this one. Please? Hello and welcome to One Good Thing, the podcast that often means well but does usually cause the complete ruination of the earth. I'm Paul Salt.
I'm a kind of magic.
Sure are. Today we shall be slugging it out over Highlander II, the Quickening.
Oof. Of my heart.
The quickening of my pulse. Russell McCarthy's astonishingly as recent as 1991 science fiction follow-up to his earlier fantasy film, Highlander.
Yeah, thanks to Matthew Whitaker of the sexually active cinema Bushido for his excellent recommendation this week. Fans of the show will recognise the name as we've been down their end to talk Sonny Chiba's The Street Fighter. Eye-popping, gut-busting, sex-doing, wrong-loving, and that's just cinema Bushido. Foul monsters! I bet you're out committing crimes right now.
End them!
What film's next, eh? Attack of the Old Ladies outside the shop. Man with a brick.
You're suggesting that they just think they've all been films, but really they've been reviewing their own atrocities.
Man with a Brick 2. Bricktastic.
Man with a Brick 2. My dad.
And then myself. Anyway, thanks, Matt. You're awesome and actually probably the nicest guy I know.
Yay. So, the movie was torn apart by critics like a baby tossed to the wolves for meat. Roger Ebert at the Chicago Sun-Times.
Who?
I know. Says this movie has to be seen to be believed. On the other hand, maybe that's too high a price for the prize.
Challenge accepted, Mr. Ebert.
The prize of having seen Highlander 2. Meanwhile, an anonymous writer at the BBC... it's just credited to BBC.
Was it WikiLeaks?
It was Edward Snowden writing for the BBC. Just as you begin to nod off, it will reach down into the pits of filmmaking to produce another stupefying moment. Yeesh. The film has 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Fuck!
Will this be the first 0% film that we finally get worked up about? Let's see. Paul, you pendejo. What's something about this movie that made you
forget English like a wrong boy.
Like a wrong boy. What is something about this movie that made you want to live forever?
Speaking of, all the Queen songs that they had in this film.
Oh, love them.
Yeah, go all the ones.
All the ones.
Originally written for this film.
That song from the first one everyone liked. The one by one of the Bryans. Adams, May, Eno.
Bryan Adams, that's the one.
That's
Bryan Adams of Queen.
So what happens in the Highlanders 2? The Quickenings. So the previous movie, Highlander, was about a bunch of immortals. They're from all over the earth.
Yeah.
I am Conor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. I was born in 1518 in the village of Glenfinnan on the shores of Loch Shiel. I cannot die.
And they have to kill each other one by one. And then every time one of them dies, the person who kills them inherits their power, I think?
Yes.
Until eventually there can be only one. And once there is one, that person will receive the prize. Which is to become mortal, grow old and die. Sounds great to me.
Bit of a shit show, if you ask me.
Yeah, and also to have all the knowledge in the world and be able to hear the thoughts of everyone around you.
Which almost makes up for not being immortal.
Yeah,
but I would probably take immortal.
I mean, I would probably use all the knowledge in the world to make me immortal again. And in fact, an immortal is a...
Yeah, I guess this is a world where immortality is possible.
Yeah.
Just like this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess you would.
You just use it to eat well. Exercise good.
More chickpeas.
Get some natto.
It was... so that's... And that film ended with Christophe Lambert.
Yes.
Of the clan Lambert. Finally becoming mortal again.
Yes, so that he can spend his whole life with his lovely Brenda.
And that's the end of this film. This film, we begin with a freshly mortal... No, not old.
No,
freshly mortal Christopher Lambert.
Yep.
Conor MacLeod.
Yep. Of the Clan MacLeod.
Of the Clan MacLeod, who is a scientist now.
Ooh.
With all that knowledge that he has.
Oh, he's got the knowledge up in his brain box.
Basically, the ozone layer has been shitted.
Yeah, it's been shitted up by people. Nobody listened to Al Gore.
No.
It was too inconvenient, that truth.
Yeah.
And now we're living in an inconvenient reality.
Because there's no ozone.
We're all going to die.
Yeah.
This is ultimately worthless. I'm going to block out the sun entirely.
Yeah.
That's what I do. And that's what Connor McLeod is going to do.
Yeah, because you are both geniuses.
We're both exactly as genius as each other.
And you're only 18 years old. Imagine what you could do with a few more hairs on your chest.
Absolutely. God.
So he builds the shield with his own hands, probably.
Yeah.
And he
says
it in front
an
of the sun.
elderly man to help him.
Yes, he gets a short elderly man who likes hugs to help him build the shield.
Yeah,
and they do that, and they set it up, and then they all high five and hug some more because they've saved the world basically from radiation and eventual explosion.
And the sun, thank God.
And the sun, because he was getting a bit self-conscious.
He's getting a bit older now for the first time in 500 years. Probably best that there be fewer direct sunlight moments.
Yeah, he can't look in the mirror anymore. And
now no one else can either.
Yes, because it's just total darkness now forever and ever and ever.
Slightly rusty-coloured, muddy darkness.
Tim Burton-esque darkness.
Yes.
Now everyone suddenly thinks he's a spanner because
he fucked up the light.
Yeah, because he didn't think about what would happen if he put a shield in front of the sun forever.
Yeah, like the manufacture of oxygen, for example.
Yes.
By plants that use sun.
Yes, which would explain the sort of like 2015 era Marvel aesthetic.
Yes.
That is now on that set that they built.
Connor McLeod is at the opera.
Yes.
And he has a flashback, like he usually does when he's in a large group of people. It's really hard to try and maintain Connor McLeod's attention. Oh, he's an old man now, by the way. Of his childhood in Scotland, which we all saw in the first movie.
Yeah.
And he was a young boy in Scotland, and he discovered he was immortal, and he was faced discrimination. It was all very interesting, actually, the idea of what would happen if just an average bloke in Scotland found that he was immortal. It's very sort of Neil Gaiman. No! That's the last movie. No, sorry, he's an alien from the planet Geist. Zeist.
Yes.
Geist? Spliced.
Zeitgeist, I guess, is where you were getting at.
Oh, that's where I'm going. That's where I did a brain wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, he was a boy in Zeist. He and his mentor, who we met in the first one, but also apparently millennia in the past in a galaxy far, far away.
Yes.
Whose name is, it's got he's got that alien name, that really alien name, Juan de los Lobos Ramirez.
That's the one.
Chief metallurgist at Charles V of Spain.
So the swarthy Sean Connery
is
Christopher Lambert's Egyptian friend.
Yes, from space.
Yes. Yes. I have so much energy for this.
They try and lead a rebellion against the evil General Katana.
Michael
Ironside.
Who's channeling Jack Nicholson.
In everything, in his own life.
Sean Connery picks out Christopher Lambert, and he says, "You're the one who will lead this whole business." Michael Ironside says no. He murders everyone else but those two.
Yeah,
and then gets those two exiled.
Exiled to an awful planet called Earth.
So then they get exiled to Scotland in the year 1542.
Yes, apparently.
That's
the thing. Is Ramirez gets banished to Egypt in the year minus something BC,
several hundred years before.
Yeah, before the birth of the J-Man.
Yeah.
Whereas Connor McLeod gets banished of the Clan McLeod. Luckily, gets banished to a place where his name's going to make sense.
Yeah.
That was very handy for both of them. He ends up in... I guess maybe that's why he goes to Spain, Ramirez, because he's born in Egypt.
Yeah.
It's like, I am Juan de los Lobos Ramirez. Okay? That's what they say in Egypt.
Yeah.
So he had to go to Spain where that would make sense. And he brought his friend who said K with him because he doesn't make sense either.
Yeah, so that explains why they were where they were at the beginning of Highlander.
Yes, they are banished to a cheesy 80s fantasy movie.
We finally get closure on that. Thanks everyone.
Well, I didn't get it. I didn't get in the first movie what that was about.
It didn't make any sense, did it?
No, because
why would they be?
They were on Earth.
Yeah,
but they had superpowers.
That doesn't happen.
No, only aliens have powers.
I've seen the Deer Hunter, and no one had a special power in that.
I remember... Wait, Meryl Streep... No, you're right. No one.
Meryl Streep's a very, very good actor.
And that's not a superpower.
It's not quite a superpower. We've been through this.
She did act over a building in a single bound once.
Well, that building was falling down.
Oh.
But it was due to her acting.
Okay, so it's borderline.
Yeah, it's
Meryl
grey
Streep,
area.
most talented actress of her generation or a devastating force of nature. We will never fully understand.
Depends on if you're Donald Trump or not. So Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod is approached by someone Marcus. I forget her first name.
Yes, well, Virginia Marcus.
That's the one.
Louise Marcus.
Sure.
She's a terrorist. Of the Final Fantasy VII variety.
Yes.
An eco-terrorist.
Best kind.
Oh, she's like Ellen Page in that film that you didn't see.
Super.
East.
And she comes up to Connor MacLeod. She's a bit Star-trucked.
She's a bit Star-trucked.
She's run over by a Star Truck. And after that, she says, "You're the guy who did the thing with the shield.
Yeah.
Very good idea. I'm really sorry that it blocked out the sun forever.
And destroyed all that eco I'm fond of.
But we don't need it anymore, so let's go and blow it up."
Because she has discovered that, in fact, everything's fine outside of the dome.
Yeah.
But here's the thing we forgot to mention to you. The dome is actually operated, the shield, is operated by a company. Run by
John C. McGinley, charging people to have this thing up there. Yeah.
Which has caused a monopoly, it seems, is what they complain about on the radio. Because all the other people with shield businesses, they just can't get a break. There's no room for the little shield guy.
And do you know what the saltiest bit of it is?
What?
Company's called Shield.
Oh, pricks. I mean, that's just got search engine optimization written all over it. But consequently, there's very powerful people who don't want the shield brought down. Yeah. Okay, so that gives us a perfectly good reason to have villains after our heroes, right?
Yeah.
No. General Katana from before decides that he's going to kill Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod.
Yeah, there can be only one.
Yes, there can be only one. So he comes to Earth with assassins.
Yes.
To take out Connor MacLeod. So he sends the assassins Rick Mail and Adrian Edmondson.
Yes.
In order to attack Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. And Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod murders them both.
He does. He cuts off both their heads.
Both of their heads.
Fortunately.
One with a sword and one with a train.
Yes. The train one was the easier one.
He
hasn't used a sword in a long time, but he takes trains all the time because he's in America now.
I'm pretty sure I could cut off someone's head with a train if I had to.
Would you?
Probably.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
he dispatches Rick Mail and Adrian Edmondson, and then he absorbs their electrical comedy juice, which immediately turns him
back into Christopher Lambert.
Christopher Lambert of the Clan Lambert.
He's young again.
Yeah, yes he is. Thank God, because he's the man we love, and the one that what's her face Virginia Madsen Marcus loves as well.
Yeah, he immediately ravishes her.
Yes,
in spite of whatever.
Figuratively. With Christopher Lambert, it's all very much one and the same, isn't it?
Yes, he definitely physically ravaged her. Whether or not he also figuratively did it.
Yeah, ravished or ravaged?
Ravaged is what I was after. He puts his penis into her vagina several times.
Right.
In very quick succession.
Clarity.
Yes.
Cool, thank you.
Which she enjoys.
Oh, it's almost fucking immediate, isn't it?
It is.
They have a moment.
Oh, you're young again, thank God.
Yeah, thank God, because I was going to screw you anyway.
Anything to bring that shield down.
For Mother Earth.
For Earth! Down. It's the sexiest remake of Final Fantasy VII I've ever seen.
Oh, it doesn't need a sexy remake. It's sexy enough. So, after impregnating her with a future child,
yes,
they then...
Well, it gets a bit fuzzy. General Katana comes to Earth.
He comes down, doesn't he?
Yes, and he causes some chaos. Oh, you know him.
Yeah.
You know, he's like a Kurgan.
He knocks a few people's caps off their heads.
And...
he gives one old lady a Chinese burn.
Ah!
Yeah, I know. And then he goes, at a dog.
Yeah,
it's one of those small, shaky dogs.
The dog didn't like that.
The dog was terrified.
Yeah, it was
never
really
seen a Michael Ironside before.
Nor should it.
When you think about it, there are so many people in this world who haven't seen a Michael Ironside face to face.
That genuinely makes me sad. So, yeah, he causes chaos.
Yeah.
He also buddies up to the Shield Company. Oh, okay. After killing Vic Reeves and and Bob Mortimer, fucking what's his name, Connor MacLeod,
the Clan MacLeod,
from the Clan MacLeod,
yeah,
shouted, "Ramirez!"
How did I forget about that?
Yeah, and Ramirez was resurrected on stage in Scotland.
In Scotland. On stage of Hamlet?
Macbeth. No, it is Hamlet. He's talking to Yorick.
Yeah. And it's very funny because Sean Connery he He died about 5 years before Shakespeare was born.
Yeah.
So they're not quite contemporaries.
Right.
Here hung those lips that I have kissed I know not how oft.
Sir, whatever you gentlemen felt for each other when your friend was still alive is certainly none of my affair.
What's your fucking game, shithead?
Shithead? What's a shithead?
So
And he's never seemed to have been to see a play because that's for the woman. Women's.
Yeah, there are none of them in Scotland.
He goes and gets suit fitted very quickly.
He does indeed, and what a suit.
What a suit that gentleman wears. That Scottish gentleman.
It is enough for a bagpipe electric guitar solo.
Fuck yeah, that's what I'd give it.
Yeah.
Then he gets onto a terrifying plane
Yes.
in order to fly to the United States of America.
Oh, he does indeed.
MacLeod goes to his own massive attic.
The Clan MacLeod.
The massive attic of the Clan MacLeod.
Yeah.
And Ramirez of the Clan Ramirez.
Of the Caliphate Ramirez.
Attacks him and they have a bit of a spar.
Yeah.
Bit of a spar.
Bit of a spar, bit of banter.
Yeah.
And then they go for a cheeky Nando's after.
Cheeky Nando's, love it. And then, yeah, I guess it's time to plan the finale of the movie.
Oh, boy.
We're done, everyone.
Yep. Fortunately, not that much planning's needed because they are both immortal.
Yeah. All that needs to happen is they need to go shut off the shield, which involves driving and a bunch of guys with machine guns.
It's pretty much, well, we just get inside. Yes, we'll get inside and see. Okay. And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Then they both go off and have sex with different executive producers on the set of the film.
So 2 restraining orders and 1 sexual harassment lawsuit later, they drive in, they get shot full of holes.
Yep, Ed 209 style.
Get all shot, and then they come back alive.
Yeah.
Without the shot, and then they punch a scientist in the face.
That's the important bit. Yeah. They punch a scientist in the face. Virginia Madsen's there too, but she managed to get in without getting all shot.
Yeah, because she's a lady.
She's a lady, so they were just being nice to her.
We may all have rickets and scurvy in 2024, but we're chivalrous types.
Yeah.
We're chival.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. Full of shiver. And
they accidentally walk into a room with a big spinning fan.
Yeah.
Which every office has. Michael Ironside presses a button that lowers the fan onto them.
Yeah.
Ramirez gives up his life in a spectacular way to the strings of Amazing Grace.
He becomes a Scottish light show. Try and say that in his accent.
Like Billy Connolly.
Scottish light show.
Scottish light show.
Pretty good.
Yeah, so he gives his life so that they can get out of the fan room.
Yeah.
Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod goes to fight Michael Ironside.
Of the Clan Ironside style.
Who murders John C. McGinley?
Oh, yes. He throws him out of a window.
That's right.
No, he throws his puppet out of a window.
That's right.
That's
he
it.
had a puppet.
John McGinley dies of shock.
My puppet.
Favourite puppet. And Christopher Lambert saw it in the background. And yes, and after that terrible scene, they then have a fight.
Yeah.
They swing 2 big bloody broadswords at each other.
To be specific, they have 2 fights edited very closely together.
Yes, they do. Yes.
Connor wins.
Yeah, Connor of the Clan Connor wins.
Yep,
the
cutting
clan
off
wins.
Michael Ironside of the Ironside
posse,
kills him, cuts his head off.
Yeah.
And then he climbs into the laser beam in order to...
which was there.
Which was there. And it destroys the satellite, which was also there.
Yeah.
And brings the shield down, and also the quickening. So I guess he's mortal again?
So he's mortal again.
Again.
The only crucial difference between the end of this film and the end of the first film, which are intrinsically linked,
yes,
if destroyed still true, is that he is an alien from Zeist.
Absolutely. Which was something established in the first film, right?
Yeah.
Heavily implied.
There was that Queen song, "Oh, I'm a Zeist man."
I'll be a Zeist man soon.
Which was, it was 30 seconds long. It was like a post-punk sort of thing.
By the way, we're aliens!
I'm a Zeist man! I'm a Zeist man! And then that's the end.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a strange, baffling, inconsistent film.
I mean, wow. After that first Highlander, which, being the cult classic that it is, that everybody loves.
Classic.
I mean, what the fuck was this?
What it was probably the most entertaining 90 minutes of my entire fucking life.
Yes, I fucking love this film.
Yes!
It was great. It was really relentlessly fun. Here's what we didn't get into during our plot synopses. Everybody is giving it 150%.
Everyone is their own individual circus.
And by 150%, I mean that is the purity of the cocaine that was being experienced by most of the cast.
John C. McGinley was doing an impression of Orson Welles, which he later admitted that was a bad idea.
But Orson Welles doing what?
Orson Welles doing an impression of John C. McGinley.
It's kind of the same for everyone. Everyone brought their fucking A game to this. So I feel like everybody watched the first Highlander, and everybody just concentrated on Clancy Brown's part as the Kurgan, and just thought, oh, I'll do that. Whether they be the villain or the sidekick or the love interest. Everybody was just fucking Kurgan in this.
Russell Mulcahy, he walked out of the premiere after 15 minutes. Right?
Yeah.
And then Rick Mayall and Adrian Edmondson show up.
That's the turning point.
They're hedgehog boys, wearing Mad Max style like speed goggles,
who can fly,
and they're cackling and they're flying. And after that whole combat scene plays out on hoverboards, with just the most fantastic wire work. It ends in about 15 minutes of explosions. Just explosion after explosion after explosion.
With the soundtrack of Connor of Christopher Lambert screaming throughout the whole thing.
It ends with like an oil tanker sliding off of its rails towards Christopher Lambert, exploding an inch from his face. Like filling the screen with sparks. And then the quickening. And by that time we were lightheaded and laughing.
And then Michael Ironside shows up. So Michael Ironside said that he claims that he realised the movie was terrible to begin with, and so was going to put in a big eccentric performance. Frankly, I have to believe that there's a consistency in the performances across the board. That meant that people knew what this was. They knew they were coming to do a cheesy 80s movie similar to Highlander. And so they all just came and did their crazy acting. And that's exactly what fucking Michael Ironside does. He comes in and he acts delirious.
Hi.
The most scene-chewing fucking maniac you've ever seen in a film.
Every corner of set is covered in Ironside spit.
Yeah, he grins like a maniac after every line he delivers.
I mean, he's really. I said Jack Nicholson earlier, but specifically what I mean is Wendy, darling light of my life. Like heights of Jack Nicholson. He gets into this train and he just fucking he goes, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. And then he turns it up to about 1,500 miles an hour. It's electric force is like shooting out of the train. People are smashing through windows. They're holding on the rails for dear life as the G-force is just holding them up.
It's like the Northern Line.
It is
on a Tuesday.
And if you've never experienced that,
you're probably still alive. You probably have some bones left.
And then there's a guitar solo and it just picks up and picks up. It starts wailing after 2 minutes. And he's just going, let's have some real fun.
There's so many moments like that. The middle of this film, you know, after Adrian Edmondson and Ronnie Corbett show up, everything after that, up until I'd say around the point where they enter the place and get shot full of bullets. That's when it starts to slow down and you get the boring scene of them just clanking swords against each other. Up until that point, that. I like it too, but very much like the Kurgan from the first one, there's not much interaction between the hero and villain during the climactic sword fight, and that's where, I mean, the highlight of Highlander, original one, is when Clancy Brown is in the fucking church, scoffing at Christopher Lambert, and Christopher Lambert's trying to act sort of seriously, and Clancy Brown's just not. Well, actually, how many moments are there where Lambert and Ironside get to face off in this?
There's one in the church.
There is one in a church. It's a graveyard this time.
Oh, okay.
That's
yes,
right.
because there's like a procession.
Because that's when he says the whole thing about ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If you're not going to use it, it'll.
Yeah, if you don't take it out and use it, it'll rust.
It's going to rust. It was.
He's a right best, Michael Ironside.
God, he was great. You've got the continued amazing performances, presumably straight-faced, from Sean Connery and Christophe Lambert.
But the chemistry between them was just wonderful.
Again, it's just they've got so much going for them.
They must have taken about 100 bullets or so.
108.
112 myself.
Ah, come on. You're not counting that little scratch, are you?
Scratch? What are you talking about? It passed right through me. Just look at my splendid waistcoat.
I mean, they had a bit of a street fighter as far as I could tell. They went JCVD. They got hooked on a cocaine and Minogue. And both of them had long-running affairs with the various women of Buenos Aires. I think Sean Connery genuinely got slapped with a sexual harassment lawsuit from an assistant director.
Doesn't he just pick those up from like the airport when he lands?
Visa entry cards on one side. Sexual harassment is just like a blank check for Sean Connery.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Ramirez dies in the first film. He's properly dead, head lopped off his shoulders. The only way you can kill a Highlander or whatever the fuck they're
dead
called
as a desk.
an immortal.
Yeah.
He's dead as a desk that's in a George Osborne's office. It's dead. So Lambert insisted that he come back.
Yeah.
And someone asked him, like, how are they going to bring him back? And he's like, let's just say that the writers are very creative. Well, they certainly fucking are, aren't they? Aliens.
I mean, we were brainstorming this yesterday, and I think we came up with a better solution within 15 seconds.
I think so. Okay, let's get into this. So now that we've covered the fact that it's so great, that it's just the best.
Great.
Now that we've established that it's just great, people hate it. People properly hate the movie. They call it like the death of the franchise. And at the time, 0%. Didn't make much money. Why?
Well, I mean, it is the death of the franchise.
Well,
really,
it kind of exploded a little after this, actually, because you had like a TV show and more sequels, but it was never mainstream again. It went underground after this.
And it knocked Russell Mulcahy's career on the head until he came back to direct Resident Evil Extinction.
Thanks, Paul Anderson, whichever one you are.
WS, I think.
Thank you.
Let's not make that mistake. But every subsequent Highlander film steered well clear of Highlander 2, as far as I'm aware.
We never returned to Zeist, which was the intention. We were originally going to go have Highlander 3, I can't remember what it was called, but Highlander 3, the something-ing.
Yeah.
And it was going to be on Zeist, and it was going to be about picking up the rebellion.
Because as far as I can see, this is a so bad it's good movie.
Yeah, I think
this is the ultimate so bad it's good movie, as far as I'm concerned. And I was trying to like resolve in my heart and my soul why fans of the original hated this.
Yeah.
And the best sort of example I could think of would be Face Off.
Okay.
Like when I first saw Face Off, I was 12,
right,
and it blew my mind. When I turned 18, Face Off 2, Siege of Troy, was released, where Nick Cage was brought back to life by taking a copy of his face and cloning a whole body from it. Only now John Travolta has to call on his training as a clone hunter from a past life to put him down.
And it turns out they were both aliens.
Yeah, and we don't have Joan Allen or Dominic Swain. We have Lee Evans and Christopher Walken, and John Woo has given them the directive that the one who acts the most gets their pet returned to them alive and well.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, and like anyone who would come and watch it out of context of the original Face Off for everything that made it the great film it is, would love it just for the sheer batshitness of it,
right.
And would just embrace it because you never stop laughing.
But the reason I enjoy, and I think most people enjoy Highlander though, is that the stuff in it that works actually works. Like there's some sweet moments in there. There's some moments that capture the loneliness of being an immortal.
Yeah.
There's some brilliant Queen music. There's some excellent cinematography.
Yeah.
That stuff all works really well. And then on top of that, you've got the fucking stuff that doesn't work. And all of that is hilarious.
Yes.
You've got the decision to cast Christophe Lambert, the Frenchman, as the Scottish Highlander. And his accent is never right, nor is it French.
No.
It's no one talks like Christopher Lambert except JCVD.
Who are you?
I'm Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. I was banished from the planet Zeist 500 years ago. And I cannot die.
They're in a league of their own.
Yeah.
And it's like that decision was made. The decision to cast Sean Connery as Juan de la Lobos Ramirez was made.
Yes.
The decision to cast Clancy Brown and to have sort of comedy moments throughout and memorable lines.
Yeah.
Now, here are the differences. So this movie got made, like, Mulcahy is the original director, as is Peter Davis, the producer, and they wanted to tell a new story, and they wanted to film in Argentina to make things look different, and they built huge stunts.
Yeah.
They built huge sets. In which they did huge stunts. They built huge sets for huge stunts. They blew up that set. They did really cool things with like local things. Lambert did all his own stunts, pretty spectacular stunts involving fantastic wire work from the team who did Superman.
In spite of his physical limitations.
In spite of his obvious physical limitations, he insisted on doing his own stunts. He cut his own thumb down to the bone, I seem to remember.
I think his finger and Michael Ironside's thumb.
Yes, and he dislocated Michael Ironside's jaw. And Michael Ironside, rather than going to hospital, insisted that Christopher Lambert just punch him in the face in order to snap it back into place. That's according to the director. Like, so many people gave a shit. Deborah Everton did not design a campy movie. She made a fucking excellent movie. She did the costumes.
Yeah.
And she made 100,000 costumes for the movie. Loads of extras, loads of costume changes, including the best thing Sean Connery ever wore.
The fucking tartan suit.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. There's great armor that people have. There's just great costumes. Roger Hall did great production design that references Batman and 89 and Blade Runner.
Yeah.
They built a whole like city block.
Yeah.
And used it over and over again. Moment-to-moment editing is not brilliant.
No.
Like the hoverboard sequence, you could tell they had this fantastic fucking stunts going on.
Yeah.
But mainly the coverage was just filming them go from the left of screen to the right of screen, and then cut and do the left of screen to the right of screen again.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. There's not much sort of tracking or. My point is, there's stuff in here that works in a conventional way.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot that doesn't. A lot of badness. A lot of script problems. Mm-hmm. The Zeist thing is dumb.
I think we were saying yesterday, you could just delete everything to do with Zeist and it wouldn't have changed the film one bit.
A single thing. Just have there's another immortal. You'd have to justify how come there's another immortal. Where's he come from? Yeah. Maybe one got born.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's magic. Fuck it. And I think that's a big thing, is that a lot of people objected to going from fantasy to science fiction.
Yeah.
The aesthetic is very different. There's no sort of... I mean, the first one is sort of history hopping. You know, you've got this stuff in the Nazi period. You've got stuff in like 18th century Britain.
Yes.
I don't know. Come up with a fantasy reason for General Katana to exist.
Yeah.
And bring henchmen with him.
He could have killing Clancy Brown could have planted that could have planted the seed for a Michael Ironside.
He grew out of him.
Yeah. He was planted in the earth and he came out like an immortal would.
Clancy Brown's chest just gives way and Ironside comes out. Ah!
He was impregnated by a Michael Ironside looking facehugger.
Oh god, that prostitute that Clancy Brown sees in Highlander. Maybe, like, I know they're not meant to be able to have kids, but maybe like an anomaly happened.
She gave birth to a fucking Michael Ironside.
She gave birth to
fully
Michael
formed.
Ironside. Fully formed, fully grown. He comes out with his long hair.
Mother. Let's have some fun. And then he drives her to 1,700 miles an hour
on a scooter.
So there are so many ways you could have gone about it. Like,
the
simplest would have been best, I think.
Absolutely, and this was not the simplest. There's no Occam's razor being applied to this fucking script. But things started going wrong. Argentina went bankrupt. The whole country did. Mm-hmm. Filmmaking went over budget. The insurance company, Interstar, did a final cut without the director or the producers. Mulcahy tried to get out of the production, but the contract said he wasn't to defame the picture, and taking his name out and replacing it with Alan Smithy would probably have counted as defaming it. And everybody turned their back on it, and they say it's a disaster for that reason, even though, I mean, they were pretty anxious. I mean, the Renegade cut got made later, and the idea was, okay, this is the proper cut. This is the cut that sort of is the one the directors would have made if it wasn't for Argentina.
Yeah.
Bastards. The Renegade cut is 16 minutes longer. There's no space stuff. And they fix some things like the final fight and the ending.
Yeah.
Fixed, in quotation marks.
And the lack of gore.
And the lack of gore. They put that in.
Yeah.
They distanced themselves from the sort of disrespectful re-edit by Interstar. But they already had Connery coming back from the dead, in spite of the rules of the first one, because Lambert just wanted his mate around.
He insisted on having his buddy Sean around.
And they still had the whole aliens thing. I mean, they were pretty anxious to say, oh no, this is the real one. The narrative that this was a great film ruined by filmmakers does not make sense.
No.
What makes this so bad it's good?
It's the fact that good bits or bad bits, they're almost routinely hilarious. Unlike Battlefield Earth, unlike Alone in the Dark, where there is a whole big old slice of downtime. This one, I was hooked.
I did laugh over quite a lot of the exposition, which is one issue.
I mean, yes, but I was still watching what was going on, and there were very few down moments.
It doesn't slow down until like the end.
No, it really doesn't. It's the long answer to that question.
Is there an issue with the incongruity of the stuff that actually works well and the stuff that's so bad it's good? So bad it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you want out of this film, I suppose. If you wanted a legitimate sequel, like Champion to Highlander.
Highlander. I wanted the Dark Knight of Highlander. It's like, what movie did you see in the first place? Like, Highlander has all of this, almost. It makes better sense, and it has a more consistent universe, and the moments that are meant to mean something. Like, the romance between him and Brenda, and him and Heather in Highlander, are moments that you could feel, in spite of Christopher Lambert's, maybe even because of Christopher Lambert's performance. Whereas in this, Virginia Madsen, they meet, they have sex.
Up against a wall.
A steamy wall. A steamy wall.
Yeah.
It's the best kind of wall to have
steamy
sex
windows from Tina Turner plays, in my mind.
And a steam engine goes past, on fire, driven by Clancy Brown.
And then Half-Life 3 is finally brought out on Steam.
Yay!
Yes, 2024. And yes, but it's like you were saying. In the original, you've got a really touching story of the lonely immortal man. It made me want to reread Simone de Beauvoir's All Men Are Mortal, which unfortunately they haven't had a good film adaptation of yet.
Not yet, but I've heard good things about Highlander 5.
All men aren't mortal.
There can be only one man who's mortal. This movie made me not want to read anything ever and just fully explore Michael Ironside as a concept for the rest of my life.
I think Russell Mulcahy was also trying to channel Paul Verhoeven at times in this. And,
and James Cameron.
Tim
Burton.
Ridley Scott.
It's wearing its influences on its sleeve.
Yes.
And like I say at the beginning, I can't believe it's 91. Like, this feels like an 80s movie right up and down the street.
Yeah.
I know it's only just out, but fuck me, does this not feel like the 90s.
What year was T2?
92. So that was the game changer.
Yeah. I just made there you go, face.
This is 2 years off of Jurassic Park. I mean, but after The Abyss, so I don't know.
Make of that what you will. I wasn't emotionally... I had an emotional investment in it, and that was just... I didn't want to ever stop laughing because I'd never be that happy again. But
I peaked during Highlander, the Quickening.
I haven't been able to finish.
Nope.
No. Fists. I just can't do it anymore. But there wasn't like the human emotional investment that you had in the first one.
Caring about the characters, and there's a flimsiness to the design that wasn't in the first one, where it felt a bit more substantive. Is that it? You're a Highlander fan. You've got the poster on your wall. You've shown up. It's 1991. You're wearing your Conor McLeod pajamas.
And a Sean Connery sexual harassment lawsuit.
You've got that in your pocket, like most people have. And you're coming in to see the movie.
Oh, you made me do an embarrassing laugh.
That's excellent. I hope that got picked up.
Oh, God, I'm sure. Well, these are quite good microphones.
Oh, there's dolphins at the window. Just wondering where their mate's gone.
Call the window repairmen and murder them to exercise this
and
film.
Feed them to dolphins. What the fuck? Okay, you've shown up.
Yeah.
You're here. And now it's Highlander 2. You get past the first 15 minutes. Penn and Teller show up. And the film ensues. Do you really start thinking, oh, they've ruined this? Maybe if you were hoping for more. Like, if we showed up to The Last Jedi, we've got the benefit of hindsight now. Yeah. We know that it kind of survived. It was okay. Most people who like Highlander liked 3, but it never really reached the peaks of the first one again. And so we're able to take it as like a curio.
Okay, so The Last Jedi.
Okay.
We go there. Mark Hamill has a pizza face to show how old he is.
Yeah.
Which looks a bit weird, but we saw CGI Peter Cushing and CGI Princess Leia in the last one and thought, okay, it's fine, we'll go with it.
In the second scene, they fall into a time portal and end up in New York in the 1970s, and it's all about Rey having to try and get the crystals together in order to get back to space. Or
even they go, we must go to Tatooine, and Tatooine is one set.
Yeah,
it's very obviously a set. The lightsabers don't quite look as good as they did. They're backflipping and they're doing all kinds of gymnastics.
And there's quips now, and everybody's acting at 110%.
Yeah, and they brought back Harrison Ford.
They've brought back Harrison Ford. Yes.
Yeah.
How so? But it's funny. Let's say it's so funny how bad this is. But we'd be upset.
You'd be upset, yeah.
You'd be really upset.
Yeah, the general you. I wasn't saying you'd be upset.
I'd be upset.
I would finally be able to finish.
Yeah, I don't want to put the original Highlander down here. I
don't want to put it on
much,
blast.
But
I like Highlander.
It's just this is a whole different animal, and it's so funny. Everyone, just it really does beg a belief as to how amusing it is, and whether or not you're laughing with it. I mean, most of the actual attempts at comedy that the thing makes are terrible, but the stuff they thought was serious,
yeah,
it's so funny.
I have an idea.
Okay,
how do you feel when this happens?
Here we are, born to be kings. We're the princes of the universe. Here we belong.
In a world with the darkest powers.
Exactly. When you came to see this, when you went to see this film for the first time, everybody broke into song.
Yes.
Along with this, I played this song earlier. I was listening to it because I was thinking about the soundtrack for Highlander 2.
Right.
I thought, let's refresh my memory of the original. This song came on, and I went, oh yeah, okay, this is something to be excited about.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it has that sort of feel to it.
It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Cool as ice. It's willing to sacrifice. And Highlander 2 does not have that. I think it's just a film that, like, quite understandably, a lot of people loved for myriad reasons.
Yeah. Sorry, Highlander.
Highlander.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a lot of competency there. There was a lot of cool there.
Yeah.
And this Highlander 2 did not deliver any of that. It did deliver constantly on plenty of other things.
A cocaine shot to the balls.
Yeah. And I can just...
The eyeballs.
Hindsight is 2020, you know.
Yeah.
If you knew that the film was going to be awful and you went in expecting it, then maybe. But if you were going in
and if you knew the franchise did just about survive it too. Yeah, I think what you've got here is you've got one cult movie that has all the things associated with a cult movie: the competency, the imagination, the fun in Highlander. And then in Highlander 2, you've got a so bad it's good movie. You've got a Room.
Yeah.
You've got The Room, sorry.
Yeah.
You've got The Room.
You've got Room by Lenny Abramson.
You've got Room by Lenny Abramson. Every time fucking William H. Macy comes on the screen, it's like...
Yeah. Yes, glad we got you out of that room, young lady. She's a young woman, Sean Connery.
Stop it. That's Captain Marvel. Yeah, that's the problem here, is it's that sort of difference. But I think if you can appreciate... When I saw Highlander recently, I took a girl to go see it.
Never spoke to you again.
She never spoke to me again. But like, it was because that she had seen Flash Gordon and wanted to see something cheesy like that.
Yeah.
And she really enjoyed Highlander, except for some of it. Parts of it are problematic. This, I feel, would have been a better bet.
Yeah.
For those purposes. If you want to see a great sort of 80s movie that has aesthetics like Terminator and, you know, has a neat concept explored kind of well, but with also funny bad bits punctuated throughout, then that's Highlander. If you want to see a fucking amazing car wreck, stuff that just great things thrown into a soup that just is baffling and crazy,
I feel
Highlander 2.
I feel this is the kind of cult film where you go and see it, and when the bagpipe solo breaks out when they're crafting Sean Connery's tartan suit, that's when people in the audience get out their own bagpipes and play along to it.
Except that hasn't happened. Highlander 1 is a cult film.
Yeah.
There's no cult here. There's no like movement. There's people who are like, oh yeah, the Renegade cut, you know, it's not bad, you know, it's the best version of a bad movie. But we're apologists right now, technically, as far as the world is concerned. Like, there's no cult around Highlander 2, and there definitely should be.
I'd very much like to start one.
Yeah, let's get in touch with the Prince Charles.
Yeah. If we were able to use this podcast to springboard into like a cult movie origins night once a month.
Highlander 2 and Gem and the Holograms.
We could do this.
Yeah.
So Prince Charles, if you're listening, get in touch.
How can we convince the people at home to come and watch Highlander 2? Maybe we could do it by quick firing.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I, for the most part, like the score.
Okay.
It feels very worldly, and like in the original soundtrack, it had these like fantastic moments, like Michael Kamen's "Under the Garden."
Yeah.
There were like the score is really complementing what was going on.
Yeah.
There are exceptions, and when it goes in completely the opposite direction with like the bagpipe electric guitar solo and then playing Amazing Grace, when Sean Connery sacrifices himself, then it's in the other, like the best of the opposite direction going. It's just if it's not a wonderful soundtrack, it's just fucking ridiculous, and that's that's why it's such a cult classic, everyone.
Yeah. I really like the way that the opening shot contrasts Highlander. Not the opening shot, sorry. There's the scene where we pick up with Connor.
Yeah.
In the original Highlander, we're at a wrestling match. You know, big men, very flamboyant, very silly, and then we cut across the crowd and find a very stoic-looking Connor McLeod. Yeah. And I feel like that sets up the movie. It's like, hey, we've got the cheesy 80s silliness, and here is a serious story kind of sat in the audience that we're going to focus on.
Yeah.
But the world is the world of wrestling. This one has an opera, a very beautifully set opera, and then we cut across and rather than sort of swoop in a sort of comical action movie way, we gradually pan to Connor McLeod, who's thinking about aliens. I remember, he says, and it's this perfect wrongness of the seriousness of the visuals with the ridiculousess of what's actually happening, and that sets you up for this movie.
Yeah, the sets are fun. The sets are really fun. The underground base looks great. I remember the shadows of the ceiling fans in that little like operations base where everyone was spying on them. Yeah, it gave it a real like chunky.
Yeah, Blade
Runner-y feel.
There is a Blade Runner-y feel. Like, I really like the fact that John C. McGinley is meeting with his board in a room that's so huge. It's the biggest room that he's meeting with his board in. Yeah. And to which Michael Ironside just strolls in. We've got to talk about John C. McGinley for a little bit here, because it's really hard trying to pin down his face as to what's so great about it, but he's got perfect teeth, a very big mouth. He's got very tender-looking eyes, sad, loving eyes, and a real sort of sneer that he's able to do.
Yeah.
And a great sort of dumbfounded look. God, there's so much going on. He's brilliant at being arrogant, at being sad, worried. It's fantastic.
The shot of space at the beginning when they start the final countdown for the sun shield, it's great. There's a shot when it pans around the shot of like the satellite, and it gives you this great scope of like Earth in the background, and you've got the hum of nothingness. It's really good.
Yeah. The special effect of the shot of James Corden getting his head cut off by the train was so good. Like the special effect that went into it. It was obviously a dummy, but they used some sort of fantastic material so that there's a proper tear when the train takes his head off the wheel of it. It's really good.
Dummy always looks better than CGI.
Always. Even if it's John C. McGinley being pushed out of a window.
Which was going to be my next my next one, so perfect. Yeah, Michael Ironside throws John C. McGinley out of the window, and it's the most obvious puppet. It just ragdolls all the way out of the window, and it couldn't be more perfect.
I want to give some credit to the moments of dialogue that actually worked, because there's constant like winking comments made throughout the whole thing. You know, something like that is the line that gets said over and over again when someone's like, "Oh, what are you, from outer space or something?" Something like that, and it's like a smiling king because it's like, "Oh, it's exactly like that." But
there are also times when it's like, "Do you want a sandwich?" Something like that.
Yeah,
that was obtuse.
That was obtuse. Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod. But there were a couple that worked well. One of them is Sean Connery, when he walks into this establishment and they tell him, this is the oldest gentleman's dressers in Scotland. And he said, "Oh, it's very good, because I happen to be the oldest gentleman in Scotland."
It's very good.
That's a good line.
There was a great tracking shot in the battle at the beginning.
Yeah, and lots of good, that thing that they can do in old history movies, where there's an explosion, some people fly in the air, and that's the same as like showing them getting blown apart.
Yeah.
Everything pre-Saving Private Ryan was that.
Yeah.
I really like the scene where he recalls Heather and Brenda to, what's her name? To Virginia Madsen, to Louise something. He recalls them to her and talks about his first and second wife, and misses out the wife who accused him of witchcraft and tried to burn him alive, as you would. But
and you remember the good times.
I do remember the good times, guys. Focus on the wives you like. That's what Sean Connery teaches us.
There's a line at the beginning where Virginia Madsen explains in one swift sentence just how ridiculous all of Highlander is.
You come from another planet, and you're mortal there, but you're immortal here until you kill all the guys from there who have come here, and then you're mortal here. Unless you go back there, or some more guys from there come here, in which case you become immortal here. Again.
And it's like, yes, that is the plot of all the Highlanders.
Something
Fantastic.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's a kind of magic.
It's exactly that, isn't it? Isn't it, Connor? Well, I don't want to. It's like that. Crazy old fuck. There's squib work. It's fucking great on the scene where they drive in and get shot. It is Ed 209 levels of just getting the shit blown out of them. It's fantastic.
Yeah, all the fish out of water stuff for Ramirez is fairly mediocre as far as I'm concerned. But when he catches himself on the TV screens in the shop window, and he's just standing there going,
he's swaying backwards and forwards, watching his picture. It's great. The last one is a moment when Sean Connery is flying over to wherever the fuck this movie is actually happening, Gotham City, from Scotland, that city. And he's flying over, and he's in a tiny fucking airplane, which looks like a model from exterior shots, and looks like he's in the model in interior shots. Yeah. It does the great thing that models should do of matching the interior to the exterior, except it just looks like he's in a toy plane. Yes. It's very crowded. In order to try and escape from the sort of crazy people he's surrounded by, he puts on his headphones and watches the in-flight movie, which is about how to remain safe in case of an air crash, and it contains a vivid, ridiculous sequence of the plane being torn apart, with people screaming and reaching for their oxygen masks, with Connery just reacting to it, and a calm voice telling you, in the case of a catastrophic air disaster, try to remain calm as you reach for it, and it's just a plane flying apart. It's the funniest thing.
The watershed moment, it's everyone on the plane just chatting amicably with drinks in their hands, and in a snap second the plane starts plummeting and everybody loses their shit and starts screaming. Oxygen masks come out of the top of the plane and they're like just squashing them onto their own faces, like failing to do it properly because they're panicking so much. Oh God.
Guys, watch Highlander 2. We're not going to do a one better thing this week.
Yeah.
Just watch Highlander 2. It's our second. After, if you take out the guilty pleasures.
Yeah.
This is our second one good thing recommendation after Gem and the Holograms. Check out Highlander 2. It's so much fun. You know what? Third, I'd highly recommend everyone watch The Christmas Tree.
Oh, God, yeah.
You've got to watch The Christmas Tree. So this is our third. This is very much on par with The Christmas Tree in terms of how much we laughed. Gem actually had genuine feels.
Yeah.
But Christmas Tree and Highlander, it just nearly murdered us.
Who said at the beginning it was seen? You have to see it to believe it. Was that Ebert?
That was Ebert.
He was right.
Yeah. There's no
Once
way
again.
we've just done it justice using our voices and sound clips. Watch this movie, because I can't record Michael Ironside's smile for you all. Thank you very much for listening to One Good Thing.
Yeah. Thanks again to Matt from Cinema Bushido. You really have made my life better on several occasions, and this is just the
tip of the iceberg.
The last in a long line of goods. We are available like ladies of the night at all times on Twitter, Facebook, Stitcher, YouTube. I've been a bit lax with getting our stuff up on YouTube the last couple of weeks, but it's been busy. What do you want from me? We've got lives.
No, we don't.
If you wanna get in touch with an email, which you can do now, send us that at ogtpod@gmail.com. Check out my novel Dockhead, available on Amazon for $5.99. Thanks to everyone who's bought it, but it is there on Amazon. Do check it out. Dockhead.
Better way to cook. Screen Mayhem, my stuff.
Do it.
Reviews of Hitman's Bodyguard and hopefully Detroit and maybe even the other one. As well.
The other film that's out.
So what is it? Go check it out and find out.
Woof.
Woof.
Do subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever podcast app you use on your phone or chip that you've got implanted in your hand, which they've got nowadays.
Yeah.
If you haven't left us a review yet, please do. We've had a few come in from our new benefactors, Britpod scene, which has been
thanks, guys.
Very helpful. Thanks. It's good to be a part of. It's nice to be under the dragon's wing, as it were. If you haven't left a review, just leave a short one. It's my birthday tomorrow, so do that as a special birthday treat.
Yeah.
Do it for me. Do it for Idris Elba. Do it for
he
Tim
gets
Henman.
a lot of it.
Yeah. Do it for Max Schreck.
Oh, okay, these are people who have birthdays
Yeah.
on your birthday.
Yeah.
Excellent. I thought just do it for Idris Elba.
Do it for Tim Henman, he's got nothing.
He's got literally nothing. I'm Paul Salt.
I'm Paul Goodman.
And remember, the one good thing about Highlander II: The Quickening is Sean Connery sweating nervously on a plane.
Welcome to Cinema Bushido, a bi-weekly movie show taking on badass action cinema. Samurai, robots,
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
kung fu, swords,
You a faggot, Nash? Why, Garfield? You cruising for a piece of ass?
and guns. Lots of guns. You can find us everywhere you go to find podcasts, and be sure to check out cinemabushido.com.